It was around 10 at night when I opened Dana's old iPad, and everything I'd ignored finally slapped me in the face. The screen lit up. I was just trying to pull up an old contractor bid she'd emailed me months ago, something about her new gym lease. But the second I opened Instagram, it logged into an account I'd never seen before. Different handle, different profile pic. My stomach went tight. I clicked on it, and there she was, my wife, posing like a damn influencer, wrapped around some slick-looking kid in designer sneakers and a gold chain. They were at a rooftop bar in Manhattan. Another one in Miami. In one shot, she's kissing his neck. The caption said, "Work hard, love harder." My hands went cold. My name's Jason. I'm 42. I live just outside Albany, New York, and I've worked construction since I was 19. Been a foreman for the last decade. I wear work boots, I pack my own lunch. I come home sore every night. I liked it that way, but Dana, she outgrew me. She started with one gym. I helped her build it, literally. I put up drywall with my own hands, painted the damn walls myself. I cheered her on when she opened her second one, then a third, but the bigger her name got, the smaller she acted like mine was. She'd roll her eyes when I tracked mud into the house after work, say things like, "I wish you dressed like you owned a business, not like you just buried one." Half joking, but not really. I brushed it off, told myself she was just stressed. But then the late nights started. She'd say she had business dinners in the city, or that she was meeting investors overnight in Philly or Boston. She'd come home drained, barely say a word to me, just crash in the guest room. I didn't want to believe what I already knew. Still, I didn't expect to see it in full color. Her wrapped around some kid like a damn teenager. My jaw clenched as I scrolled through post after post, realizing it wasn't new. They'd been together for months. I saw dates from back in the spring, pictures taken while she was supposedly at a conference or closing a deal. I put the iPad down and just sat there, staring at the wall. All the little signs I ignored. They weren't little, they were neon. I stood up, grabbed my keys off the counter, and drove straight to the job site. I needed noise, tools, steel, anything to keep from smashing something in my own house. By the time Dana walked through the front door the next evening, I was already standing in the hallway, arms crossed, waiting. She dropped her keys in the bowl by the door and looked up. "What?" she said, like I was the one with explaining to do. "You cheating on me?" Her eyes didn't even flinch. She stared straight at me, then tilted her head like I'd just asked something dumb. "Wow, straight to the point, huh?" "I saw your little secret Instagram," I said. "Saw all the photos. You and that guy, Miami, Manhattan, Boston. You've been sleeping around while I'm out here thinking you're expanding your business." She didn't deny a damn thing. Instead, she gave this lazy shrug, slid off her coat, and said, "You're just too small time for me, Jason." That hit like a gut punch. I stepped forward. "Small time? What the hell's that supposed to mean?" She looked me up and down like she was disgusted. "Look at you. Those dirty boots, that flannel, this whole blue-collar, hard-working guy thing. It's not enough anymore. I need someone who actually understands ambition." My jaw tightened. I could feel the heat in my face. "I helped you build those gyms. You think your walls painted themselves? You think those first machines got delivered by magic? I took out a loan in my name for your second location." She laughed. Actually laughed. Walked right past me toward the kitchen. "Yeah, and I paid it back, plus interest." "You want a thank you card?" I followed her. "You want to throw everything away for some punk in skinny jeans?" "He's not a punk," she snapped, spinning around. "He's connected. He knows people. He's got investors, not calluses and a lunch cooler." I shook my head. "Unbelievable. Is this what it's all about? You got a taste of money, and now you think you're too good for the life we built?" "I didn't build a life with you," she said, flat. "I built it in spite of you." That cut deep, but I wasn't going to let her see it. I stood my ground. "So what now? We just pretend none of this happened? You gonna file for divorce or what?" She opened the fridge, pulled out a bottle of water, and said, "Already did. You'll be getting the paperwork soon." My heart dropped, but I didn't let it show. "You serious?" She nodded and took a sip. "I want you out of the house by the end of the week." My voice dropped low. "This is still my house, too." "Not for long," she said, tossing the cap in the sink. "I've already moved on. You should too." For a second, all I could hear was the hum of the fridge. I stared at the woman I thought I knew, my wife, and saw someone I didn't recognize. cold, sharp, like she'd rehearsed this moment and couldn't wait to deliver the lines. "You done?" I asked, voice tight. She leaned on the counter, cool as ever. "Yeah, I think I am." I didn't say another word, just walked out, got in my truck, and slammed the door so hard the side mirror shook. I sat in my truck with the engine off, hands locked around the steering wheel, staring at the dark windshield like it was going to give me answers. My chest felt tight. House, marriage, everything I thought was solid, gone in one night. She already filed. She already moved on. I kept replaying her voice in my head, calm and clean, like she was canceling a cable subscription instead of ending a marriage. For a few minutes, I honestly thought I was about to lose everything I'd worked for since I was a teenager. Then something clicked. It was small at first, just a memory trying to surface. Paperwork, a meeting, her first gym taking off faster than either of us expected. I sat up straighter in the seat. The agreement. Years back, when Dana's first location started pulling real money, her accountant pushed for a prenup update. Dana framed it like a formality. "Just business," she said. I didn't love it, but I wasn't scared either. I wasn't planning on screwing around, and I sure as hell didn't think she was. There was a clause. I remembered it clear as day because we argued about it. Infidelity. If either of us cheated during the marriage, the other got 50% of all business profits earned while we were together. Not just salary, profits. I remember Dana rolling her eyes and saying, "Fine, whatever. I'm not stupid enough to get caught." My heart started pounding harder, not panic this time. Focus. I turned the key, drove straight back to the house, and didn't even look at her car in the driveway. I went to the hall closet, pulled down the old metal file box we hadn't touched in years, and dropped it on the floor. Tax returns, deeds, loan papers. Then there it was, thick envelope, my handwriting on the front. Prenuptial agreement, amended. I flipped through it fast, breath shallow, until I saw the paragraph I was looking for. No loopholes, no soft language, clear as concrete. 50%. I sat on the floor and let out a slow breath. She thought she had me boxed in, thought she could rush me out before I remembered what I'd signed. That's why she came in so confident. That's why she already filed. She was betting on me being shocked, embarrassed, quiet. She bet wrong. I pulled out my phone and started digging. Screenshots from the iPad, dates, captions, her face, his face, public posts, not rumors, proof. I emailed everything to myself, backed it up twice, and labeled the folder clean and simple, evidence. The more I looked at it, the clearer it got. This wasn't just a fling. This was months of lies, money spent, trips taken while married. Every photo felt like a nail in the coffin she'd tried to bury me in. I stood up, slid the prenup back into the envelope, and locked it in my truck's glove box. Not the house. The truck, where she couldn't touch it. She thought I was just some guy in boots who didn't understand how things worked. She forgot one thing. I build things for a living, and I know exactly how to tear them down when I need to. I grabbed my jacket, walked out the front door, and headed straight for my truck with a plan forming by the step. I pulled into the strip mall parking lot where her lawyer's office was, tucked between a dentist and some payday loan joint. Clean windows, fake plants in the lobby, the kind of place that tries too hard to feel upscale but still smells like copier ink and burnt coffee. Receptionist barely looked up when I walked in, just told me to have a seat. I sat down with the prenup in one hand and a manila folder in the other. Inside were printed screenshots from Dana's secret Instagram, and every message she forgot to delete from the iPad. 10 minutes later, the door opened. Out walked this wiry guy in a charcoal suit and tortoiseshell glasses, holding a yellow legal pad like it was a damn badge of honor. "Mr. Cole?" he asked. "That's me." He held out a hand, polite but unsure, like he wasn't expecting someone who looked like me to be early, prepared, or calm. "I'm Robert Langston, representing Mrs. Cole." "Yeah," I figured. We stepped into his office. Sleek desk, bookshelf full of legal texts no one's cracked open in years, and a framed quote behind his head that said, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." I almost laughed. He sat down, smoothed his tie, and started with the usual. "So Jason, I know divorce can be..." I cut him off. "Before you start, you should probably look at this." I slid the prenup across the desk. He blinked, leaned forward, and started reading. His fingers twitched a little when he hit the infidelity clause. "She didn't mention this?" I asked, knowing damn well she hadn't. He cleared his throat. No, she did not." "Interesting." He kept reading, eyes darting back and forth, like he was trying to find a way around it. I gave him a second. Then I slid over the manila folder. "What's this?" "Proof, Instagram photos, private messages, all dated, all backed up." He opened it, and his face turned a little red. The guy in the photos was easy to spot. Dana's arm around his neck, her hand in his lap. One shot of them sipping champagne on a balcony that looked a hell of a lot like the Fontainebleau in Miami. Langston flipped through everything, slow at first, then faster, like the damage just kept piling up. "Do you mind if I make copies of these? Be my guest." He stood up, walked to the copier in the corner, and I could hear the thing humming while he tried to keep his cool. When he came back, he set the originals down in front of me and took a long breath. "I'm going to need to speak with my client again." I nodded. "Yeah, you do that." He started to say something else, but I cut in before he could spin it. "Let her know I'm not backing down. I'm not here to beg, and I'm not here to fight dirty. But this?" I tapped the prenup with my finger. "This is business now." Langston straightened his papers like he needed something to do with his hands. "Understood, sir." There it was again. "Sir." Second time in 15 minutes. He hadn't expected me to come in prepared. He thought I'd be the guy Dana painted me as. Stubborn, simple, and easy to roll over. Instead, I stood up, gave him a tight nod, and walked out without shaking his hand. I didn't even make it to lunch the next day before my phone lit up with her name. Dana Sell. We'd agreed, through the lawyers, on no direct contact. She was the one who pushed for that. Said it was cleaner that way. Said we needed boundaries. But now suddenly, she was breaking her own rules. I let it ring once, twice, then picked up. "What? You smug son of a bitch," she snapped. No greeting, no build-up. I smirked. "Nice to hear from you, too." "You scared off my lawyer." I laughed, loud and honest. "He quit?" She paused just long enough to tell me I was right. Then she hissed, "You blindsided him with that prenup and those photos. That was supposed to be confidential. Maybe next time don't lie to the guy who's supposed to represent you." "You really think you're gonna win?" She shot back. "You think this little stunt is gonna hold up in court?" "I'm not pulling a stunt," I said. "I'm holding you to a contract you signed. You broke the rules. I didn't. You're nothing without me, Jason. You're a damn construction worker. Do you even know what a courtroom looks like?" "Sure do," I said. "Built 2 of them last year." She went quiet for a second. I could hear her breathing through the line, sharp and fast. She wasn't used to this, me talking back. "I'm getting a better lawyer," she said, low and furious. "Somebody real, somebody who'll crush you. Go ahead. Get the biggest one you can find. I'm not asking for a penny more than what's mine." "You're a joke," she muttered, "dragging this out just to make yourself feel big." "No, Dana. I'm doing what you never expected, standing my ground." There was another pause, longer this time. I could picture her pacing around whatever high-rise apartment she'd rented, nails tapping against glass, trying to think of her next move. "You've always been good at playing the victim," she said, bitter. "You think this makes you a hero?" "No," I said. "But it sure as hell makes me not your doormat anymore." She hung up. No warning, just dead silence. I looked at the phone for a second, then dropped it on the table beside me. My hands were steady. I felt calm for the first time in weeks. No yelling, no panic, just facts. She made her move, I made mine, and now she knew I wasn't bluffing. About a week later, she showed up at the cabin. I'd moved into my uncle's old place by the lake after things blew up. He'd retired to Florida and left me the keys, said I could use it as long as I wanted. Quiet spot, gravel driveway, pine trees, a deck that creaked in the wind. No neighbors, no noise. Exactly what I needed. That afternoon, I was out back splitting wood when I heard tires on gravel. I turned around and saw her silver SUV pulling in, slow, like she wasn't sure if she should be there. I wiped my hands on my jeans and waited. She got out, sunglasses on, hair tied back, dressed casual like she was trying not to look rich. She didn't say anything for a second. Just stood there by the driver's side door, hands in her coat pockets. "You gonna say something?" I asked. She let out a breath and walked up the steps. "Can we talk?" I didn't want the neighbors hearing shouting. though there weren't any this time of year, so I stepped aside and let her in. The place was warm from the fireplace. She looked around like it was her first time seeing real wood paneling. She sat on the arm of the couch, trying to look comfortable. Her leg bounced. "I've been thinking," she started. "Dangerous for you," I said flat. She gave a half smile, like she thought being soft would help. "I made a mistake. You're gonna have to narrow that down." "With him," she said. "It wasn't what I thought. He's not who I thought he was." "Who is?" I said, grabbing a bottle of water from the kitchen and staying on my feet. She looked up. "I broke things off, for good." "Good for you?" She stood. "Jason, I miss what we had. I miss the way things used to be. Simple. You and me, building something real." I raised an eyebrow. "Simple life, huh?" She nodded. "Yeah." I took a long sip, then said, "You miss me, or you miss not having to split your business?" Her mouth opened, but no words came out. She looked down at the floor like it held the answer. "That's what I thought." "It's not just about that," she said, quick. "Then say what it is about." She stared at me, but the words never came. Just more silence. Her eyes started to water, and I could see her lower lip twitching like she was trying to hold it together. I stepped closer, leaned on the edge of the table. "You want forgiveness, Dana? I don't hate you, but I'm not stupid either. I didn't come here to be insulted." "Then why'd you come at all?" She didn't answer that either. I tossed the empty bottle in the trash, grabbed her coat from the back of the chair, and held it out. She took it slow, lips pressed tight. "I was your fallback plan," I said. "But I'm not a backup, not anymore." She looked like she wanted to say something else, but nothing came out. Just a slow nod. She slipped on the coat and walked to the door. I opened it for her. The cold air hit hard as she stepped out. I didn't watch her walk to the car, just closed the door and turned the lock behind her. A few days after Dana walked out of the cabin, the whispers started. I wasn't even trying to keep tabs on her. Didn't need to. Small towns handle that for you. One of the girls from my sister's book club texted me a screenshot. Dana's Instagram was wiped clean. Every picture with her boy toy, gone. Unfollowed, untagged, ghosted. Apparently he'd dumped her. Word was, he'd met someone more connected. Some rich girl from the city with a lawyer daddy and real money. Dana? She was just the training wheels. By the end of that week, one of her lead managers quit, then another. One of them left a comment under an old gym promo video saying they don't work for liars who throw their marriage away for clout. That post got passed around like wildfire. Clients started canceling memberships left and right. I got a call from a guy I barely knew, my cousin's ex-roommate. All he said was, "Dude, she really fumbled the bag." I didn't ask how he knew. Everyone knew. One of her gyms tried running a promo to get new signups. First month free, referral bonus, the whole thing. No one bit. People didn't want discounts. They wanted her gone. She tried pitching a new location. Some warehouse space across town she wanted to turn into a women's-only concept. The banks wouldn't touch her. Bad press, low public trust, high risk. All it took was one underwriter to Google her name and see the words cheating scandal and business prenup lawsuit in the same sentence. She wasn't just losing money. She was losing control. Meanwhile, I stayed quiet, didn't gloat, didn't post a damn thing. But I wasn't sitting still either. I met up with someone I hadn't seen in years. Connor Brewer. Played varsity baseball with me back in high school. Smart guy. Always had a head for numbers, even then. Now he was a licensed CPA with a small but solid firm in Saratoga Springs. We grabbed coffee, caught up, and I laid it all out. Showed him the prenup, the equity breakdown, the gym revenue reports I'd gotten through Discovery. "You're not looking to run these yourself, are you?" he asked. "Nope, I just want them managed right, accountable, profitable." He nodded, already scribbling notes. "We can do that. Keep it clean. Set up a holding structure so she can't try anything funny. She tries, I want to know day one." "Deal," he said. By the time I left his office, I had a plan. My name wasn't on the signs, but it was in the books now. She'd built the brand, but I was holding the reins on half of it, and she couldn't do a damn thing about it. 2 days later, someone texted me a photo of Dana walking out of her flagship location, phone to her ear, face like stone. The caption just said, "Not so boss now." I saved the image, didn't reply, and kept driving toward the job site. The call came on a Tuesday morning, just after I'd finished pouring concrete. My lawyer, Ray, picked up the line smooth as ever. Dana's new attorney reached out. They want to settle. That was the first smart thing she'd done in months. I didn't ask for details over the phone, just told Ray to go ahead and set the meeting. I trusted him. He was sharp, didn't blink, and had been riding shotgun through the whole mess without flinching. 2 days later, I walked into that law office downtown. Neutral ground, conference room, rented by the hour, no signs, no firm names on the door. Just a big table, 4 chairs, and a pitcher of water that nobody touched. Dana was already there. She looked small. Not physically, but worn out. Hair up in a tight bun, makeup trying too hard to hide the stress. She didn't look at me when I came in, didn't say a word. Her new lawyer was a younger guy, mid-30s, crisp suit, slicked back hair. He smiled like he thought this was all just a numbers game, but I saw the way he avoided my eyes when I sat down across from them. Ray opened his folder and started reading off the agreement. It was all there in black and white. 50% of all business assets acquired during the marriage. That included equity, properties, revenue streams, and any future earnings tied to brand growth under my management share, plus half the marital property, the house, the land, the vehicles, the accounts, clean split, no tricks, no loopholes. Just what she'd agreed to when things were good, back when she thought I'd never be the one holding the upper hand. Dana sat stone still through all of it, didn't argue, didn't push back, just kept her eyes on the table while her lawyer nodded like a bobblehead. When it was her turn, she signed every page without looking up, and then, after the last page was stamped, she finally spoke. "Would you ever consider letting me buy you out?" she asked, voice soft, like we were suddenly on friendly terms again. I leaned back in my chair. "We'll see." I didn't mean it. Ray closed his folder and shook hands with her lawyer. I didn't shake anyone's hand. I stood, picked up the envelope with my signed copies, and slid it into my jacket. Dana didn't move. I looked at her one last time and said, "Good luck." She didn't answer. I walked out of that office feeling lighter than I had in years. Not because I got the money or the property or even the win. I walked out with my dignity. My name wasn't tied to hers anymore. And the one thing she could never get back? Control. I didn't waste time after the papers were signed. Took some of the payout, called a local broker, and bought myself a small farm about 20 minutes outside town. Nothing flashy, just over 20 acres, old barn, a 2-bedroom house with a wraparound porch and a fireplace that actually worked. Needed some updates, sure, but the land was quiet and the air didn't smell like exhaust and tension. Peace. That's what I bought. I hired a guy named Victor to manage my share of Dana's gyms. Retired Marine, ran his own training studio for years before the pandemic wiped it out. Sharp guy, organized, didn't take crap from anybody. He cleaned up staff schedules, cut the waste, and started running tighter promos. In 3 months, the numbers were already better than when Dana was micromanaging every little thing. Every so often, I got forwarded the monthly reports. Revenue was up. Client satisfaction, too. The brand was healing, just without her at the wheel. One of her old trainers texted me a photo of a for lease sign going up on the window of Dana's second gym. She'd sold it off, apparently. Couldn't keep the lights on. Membership dropped too fast, and no bank in their right mind was loaning her a dime. I didn't smile when I saw it, but I didn't feel bad either. I heard through the grapevine she moved into a small apartment near the highway. Nothing wrong with that. People live how they can, but it wasn't the penthouse life she bragged about. As for the guy she left me for, he's with someone else now. Word is she's loaded. Real estate money. Probably never lifted a dumbbell in her life, but she's got that designer look Dana used to chase. Figures. I never reached out. Didn't check in, didn't need to, because now I've got money, I've got time, I've got peace, and not once has anyone stepped on my porch to call me small time. She wanted a clean break. She got one. I stepped out onto my porch with a cup of coffee and watched the sun come up over my own damn land.